Pilot Jim had flown this route dozens of times. The weather briefing called for scattered clouds with good visibility. Nothing unusual. But 40 minutes into the flight, the mountains disappeared. The horizon vanished. And within seconds, Jim found himself inside solid cloud. What happened next nearly became another fatal VFR into IMC accident. Jim was flying his Piper Arrow at 6,500 feet on a weekend cross-country flight. He wasn't instrument rated, but he felt confident. The weather at departure had been beautiful. As he approached higher terrain, he noticed the clouds ahead looked thicker than expected. He considered turning around, but then he thought, "It's probably just a small patch. I'll be through it in a minute." That decision changed everything. Within seconds, the windshield turned completely white. Outside, nothing. No mountains, no horizon, no ground, only gray. Jim's breathing became faster as he instinctively tried to keep the wings level by looking outside. But there was nothing to see. His inner ear suddenly convinced him the airplane was banking left. He rolled the controls to the right. Except the airplane had actually been level. Now it entered a real bank. The attitude indicator showed 20 degrees, then 35, then over 50 degrees of bank. Jim glanced back outside. Still nothing. He pulled back on the yoke, believing he was descending. Instead, the airplane tightened into a descending spiral. The airspeed rapidly increased. The altimeter unwound hundreds of feet in seconds. The G-forces made it even harder to read the instruments. Now panic had taken over. Jim had completely lost control of the airplane. Fortunately, Jim remembered something his instructor had emphasized during training. Trust the instruments, not your body. During Jim private pilot training, he had several intense hours of training under the hood for emergency situations. And, well, this was the time he would be using that training. He forced himself to stop looking outside. He locked his eyes on the attitude indicator. One instrument, one job. Focusing on his attitude indicator, he slowly leveled the wings on the indicator, reduced power slightly, and raised the nose gently, putting the nose on the horizon, using the attitude indicator and cross-checking his altimeter to verify he was no longer climbing or descending. Jim cross-checked the turn coordinator for wings level and ball centered for coordinated flight. Jim took a deep breath. Since he was already using air traffic control for flight following, he told them of the emergency after first stabilizing the plane. Aviate, navigate, communicate. Then he contacted air traffic control. Center, Piper 521 Juliet Papa, VFR pilot. Inadvertent IMC. I need help. The controller immediately provided simple headings and vectors toward clear weather. Jim used standard rate turns and gentle pressure on the controls, all the time concentrating on his instrument panel, with specific focus on the attitude indicator, turn coordinator, and altimeter. A few minutes later, Jim broke out beneath the clouds, shaken, embarrassed, but alive. Those intense hours of emergency hood work during his private pilot training had saved his life. Most VFR into IMC accidents don't happen because pilots lack skill. They happen because pilots wait too long to turn around. If the weather is getting worse, don't hope, don't guess, don't press on. Turn around while you still can, because once you lose the horizon, your own body can become your worst enemy. Sometimes the safest decision is the one made 5 minutes earlier. Please leave comment on how you would escape this situation for all of us to learn from. My name is Dan. If you enjoy real-world pilot survival stories that can help you become a safer pilot, subscribe to My Student Pilot. Every week we share lessons that could one day save your life in the cockpit. Also, visit mystudentpilot.com for pilot training advice, career advice, and flight training financing advice, along with more real-world pilot survival tips that could save your life.